Europe is a very popular destination for immigrants, as we have already seen in this video. Thousands and thousands of people come to Europe, or move between European countries, in search of a more stable and better paying job. However, we Europeans are not generally described as very friendly people, except for some exceptions that we will see in this video. In fact, today we will discover the 10 friendliest and most hospitable nations in Europe. This list was compiled by Internations, the largest global expat network. In a previous video, we already looked at last year's ranking, while in this one we will look at the 2024 list. However, let's clarify that Internations has not ranked all the countries in the world, but only the 53 countries from which they were able to obtain the most information from the 12,500 regular immigrants interviewed. And in the final bonus, we will also see which people are the friendliest in the world. Welcome to this new video of Amazing Europe. Number 10, Poland. First of all, let's clear something up. Poland ranks 10th in Europe, but 37th worldwide, still considering the 53 nations ranked by Internations. In general, immigrants don't seem to particularly appreciate European countries, even though many move there attracted by wages or job opportunities. We should also note that the ranking includes movements between European countries, including Europeans themselves emigrating to other nations on the continent. As for Poland, economic aspects such as wages are not particularly praised. What stands out instead is the quality of life, with particular appreciation for leisure options and transport efficiency. Regarding friendships, as we said earlier, it doesn't seem particularly easy for immigrants to become friends with locals. However, there are several European nations that fare much worse, as we have already seen in the dedicated video, and this helps Poland secure the 10th place. One of the major obstacles reported by immigrants is undoubtedly the language barrier, which further complicates integration. Number 9, France. France also appeared in last year's ranking as one of the friendliest countries in Europe according to Internations. When we mentioned this in the video, we received many incredulous comments. Of course, we at Amazing Europe do not take a position, but we want to clarify two things. The first is that France ranks 9th in Europe but 34th in the world, still in a relatively low position globally. The second thing is that many people have noticed a big difference in friendliness and hospitality between Paris and the rest of France. If Parisians are described as unfriendly, the inhabitants of the rest of France are said to be much friendlier. Again, we are not saying we agree, but we are reporting some statistics, and we're curious to know your opinions. 46% of immigrants interviewed by Internations agree that it is not easy to make friends with locals. However, this is a higher percentage than the global average, which is 41%. The category where France performed better is quality of life, especially health and leisure options. Number 8, Italy. Just above France, both in Europe and globally, we find Italy. Although Italians are generally considered friendly, they do not achieve a high position in the global ranking compiled by Internations. 26% of respondents believe that Italians are not very friendly towards foreigners, compared to 20% globally. It doesn't seem easy for a foreigner to form a true friendship with a local, a relationship that goes beyond a simple acquaintance. For this reason, a slightly higher percentage than the global average of immigrants are dissatisfied with their social life in this wonderful country. We emphasize that we are simply reporting the Internations study, but many of you may be wondering why, in a list of the 10 friendliest European countries, there are nations described by immigrants as not particularly friendly. As mentioned earlier, the reason is that these countries are the friendliest in Europe, but only those from the 4th position upwards are considered friendly at a global level. As we said at the beginning of the video, we Europeans are not described as particularly friendly. We know that this channel is followed by both Europeans and non-Europeans. We really want to know your opinion. Number 7, Malta. Malta ranks 7th in Europe and 32nd worldwide, alongside Italy. However, the main problem for expats is not so much making friends, but rather feeling at home. Many report struggling to get used to the local culture. It's worth noting, though, that our research shows that many workers, especially those from other EU countries, work remotely. In 2021, 54% of immigrants in Malta came from the EU. Most of them see Malta as an ideal place to work, considering that their salary is on average 23% higher than the Maltese one. On the contrary, those coming from non-EU countries earn on average 13% less than locals. Malta, as seen in our video, has one of the highest immigration rates in Europe, with 20.6% of the population made up of immigrants, mainly attracted by remote jobs for multinational companies. However, expats interviewed by Internations rank Malta among the lowest globally for quality of life, with particular criticism of leisure options and the environment. The high population density, the highest in the European Union, likely influences this perception. Number 6. Belgium. Belgium ranks 6th in Europe and 31st in the world. Regarding the friendliness of its inhabitants, it finds itself around the middle of the rankings in all subcategories, showing a better situation compared to the countries examined so far, but still far from the nations considered truly welcoming by expats. The areas where Belgium excels are quality of life and the work sector. Concerning quality of life, the only real drawback seems to be the climate, while leisure options and nightlife are rated quite positively. Expats also appreciate the efficiency and affordability of public transport, as well as the healthcare system. However, the country's greatest strength lies in the work environment. Expats praise job security, the local market, and opportunities for personal growth. In fact, almost 2/3 believe that moving to Belgium has improved their career prospects. Another important advantage is the corporate culture, which promotes flexibility, an aspect acknowledged by over 3/4 of respondents. This is reflected in the significant percentage of expats who report being able to work remotely part of the time. Number 5. Ireland. Like Italians, the Irish are traditionally considered a friendly and welcoming people. Indeed, immigrants interviewed by Internations confirm their friendliness. However, Ireland ranks only 29th out of 53 countries analysed. Despite the friendliness of the Irish, it still seems rather difficult to form friendships with them. Looking at the other categories, it emerges that Ireland's real weakness is quality of life. The main issue concerns healthcare, both in terms of the availability of care and its affordability. Expats describe the Irish healthcare system as poor, bureaucratic, and with very long waiting times. They also consider it one of the most expensive, second only to the United States among the 53 countries evaluated. Ireland, on the other hand, scores very well in the work category, particularly for career opportunities. Immigrants greatly appreciate the country's environment and nature, although almost half of the respondents are dissatisfied with the weather, due to the famous Irish rain. Number 4. Cyprus. From Cyprus onwards, all the countries we'll see are in the top half of the list. In fact, Cyprus ranks 17th globally. Here, expats state that it's quite easy to make friends with locals and adapt to the local culture. However, it's interesting to note that this island ranks among the lowest for work life. In this category, it is 51st out of 53 ranked nations. 2 out of 5 immigrants rate their personal career opportunities negatively, and an even higher percentage say that their move hasn't improved their job prospects. Job opportunities for foreigners, especially students, seem to be scarce. It's not surprising, then, that only a minority of immigrants interviewed by Internations moved to Cyprus for work-related reasons. The majority have moved there after retirement. As we saw in the dedicated video, Cyprus is one of the best low-cost destinations in Europe to peacefully enjoy retirement. Cyprus imposes a maximum tax rate of 5% on foreign pensions and offers reduced VAT on real estate purchases. Number 3. Portugal. Portugal is a clear example of how immigrants often seek authentic human relationships rather than high salaries. It ranks 3rd in Europe and 15th in the world in terms of ease of making friends with locals. However, if we look at the overall ranking of the most sought-after countries for immigrants, as mentioned in the video linked in the top right, Portugal rises to 2nd place in Europe. This is surprising, considering that it ranks low for working conditions, with modest salaries, limited professional mobility, and significant job instability. But its excellent quality of life and the warm hospitality of its people push its position up. Despite some gaps in transportation, given that its rail network is less advanced than other Western European countries, and a healthcare system that could be improved, Portugal excels in safety, leisure, and a pleasant climate, especially in Madeira and the Azores. The Portuguese are also described as a welcoming, sociable people, always ready to lend a hand, trying to build connections even if you don't yet speak their language fluently. Number 2. Spain. Spain ranks 2nd in Europe and 11th in the world. Spain seems to be a welcoming environment, at least for the expats interviewed by Internations. In fact, over 3/4 of respondents feel at home and welcome in Spain, a percentage much higher than the global average. It seems quite easy to adapt to the local culture, and Spaniards are described as people who are easy to make friends with. Not only is the culture of friendship in general highly appreciated in this country, but also the friendship Spaniards offer to foreigners. Some research suggests that the reception of non-Spaniards varies depending on the region. Some parts of Spain may be more open, while others more reserved. We'd love to ask our community if they can confirm this information. What clearly distinguishes Spain from many other nations is its quality of life. In this regard, it ranks first among the 53 nations examined in the Internation study. Immigrants highly appreciate the climate, safety, public transport, healthcare system, and the many leisure options the country offers. Before revealing the number one, we would be truly grateful if you could give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you don't miss our new videos. This simple gesture would help us immensely in spreading our project to share European society and culture. Thank you very much. Number 1, Greece. According to Internations, Greece is the friendliest and most welcoming nation in Europe and ranks 10th in the world. Like other countries in this ranking, Greece is a classic example of how immigrants often seek good friends more than a good salary. Indeed, Greece is among the top European destinations for expats, and this is certainly not due to its working conditions. The country scores very low in the expat essentials and working abroad categories. Bureaucracy is described as slow and burdensome, while the country is seen as not very digitized. It's also a challenging country in terms of work and salaries. Greece is still recovering from the major crisis of a few years ago, but it remains far from the performance levels of many other European Union countries. Yet despite these difficulties, foreigners living here seem to have integrated well, and they say it's very easy to make friends with locals. The only major challenge is, of course, the language, which is very different from other European languages. However, immigrants who are eager to learn it will find the Greeks to be a welcoming people, and they won't struggle to integrate into their culture. These are the 10 most welcoming countries in Europe. But which nation is considered the friendliest in the world according to the immigrants interviewed by Internations? It's Costa Rica. Almost 9 out of 10 expats feel welcome upon arrival in this country, and just as many say Costa Ricans are very open to foreigners. A Canadian immigrant says, "The locals are generally gentle, lovely people. You learn to adapt to a pura vida life in Costa Rica." This is the result of the interview conducted by Internations with over 12,500 regular immigrants. But now we really want to hear your opinions and experiences. Do you agree with them, or do you think their ranking is unfair? If you found this video interesting, we recommend watching the one about the least friendly European countries, also according to Internations. You can find it in the top right corner. That's all for this video. See you next time.